something really good, a hot topic in the news this week. He's been charged with crime. This is a show where I try to educate real stories. Thank you for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. I've been gone, but I'm back now. And I'm excited tonight because, as usual, we want to educate people about the criminal justice system. And I'm so happy that the First Amendment allows me to do my hobby, which is talk about the system that I've worked in for the last 25 years. As you know, I started as a prosecutor at the beginning of my career, and I'm a prosecutor again. But I had 22 years of representing people charged with a crime. And one of the most frustrating things about that was that people do not know anything about the criminal justice system, although they espouse to. And so we will continue to try to educate people because they should know about the system that they pay for as taxpayers. So tonight I have my usual co-host, Mr. Danny Sneed, in the audience. And then I also have with me Mr. Sanford Mouton. Mr. Mouton drove all the way from San Angelo, Texas, to tell his story tonight, and I'm excited to have you, so thank you for coming.
Thank you, glad to be here.
Thank you for coming. So tell me first, how did you, going to school and being in San Angelo, how did you know that the show was even going on?
How did I know the show was going on? Well, I'm familiar with you as you were my lawyer in the past, representing me in the case. So therefore, you know, I've seen the show on Access TV.
But that was a long time. I represented you a long time before I started doing this show.
Oh, really? And that was a blessing that you started.
Because I didn't start the show until 2011.
Okay, so well, yeah, that was like a long time before. But,
yeah.
I mean, I recognize you. I recognize you doing the show on Access channels and whatnot. And I looked you up and thought maybe, you know, I would be a possible candidate, you know.
Well, I'm glad that you found the courage to tell your story. I know you've always worked with youth.
Yes, ma'am.
When I met you, when you were in jail, it was a youth-related crime. I mean, you were loving your youth, but, you know, something else went awry.
Well, don't say, well, when you say youth-related,
oh,
you know
yeah. No pedophile, no pedophilia,
right,
nothing like that.
Okay, good.
No.
But yeah, but we were trying to do something positive.
You were doing something positive in the community. You were working with football combines.
Yes, ma'am.
And I remember it because I never knew what a combine was. Okay. And so that was the first time I'd heard that term,
really?
An expression. So,
okay.
And you know, in representing you, I had to learn a lot about combines because, you know, the partners that you had that disagreement with that turned into a criminal problem.
Yes.
Y'all were partners in that combine.
Yes.
And so I remember that. Now, we haven't talked about this.
No, we haven't.
And I represented you in 2005 or 2006, but I just remember it. I know, but so it was a summer combine program that you had for children and your partners, and you had a disagreement that led you into the criminal justice system.
Right.
So tell me about your life before that and how you landed. I want to know who the Sanford Mouton was before you landed in the criminal justice system.
Okay.
So are you from Houston? Did you have two parents, one, and you know, how'd that go?
Okay. Well, I'm originally from Houston. Been here all my life outside of college. Grew up in a two-parent household. My father is my greatest role model. My mother, you know, led with education and discipline. So I had a strong value system, you know, in education and getting ahead. I also grew up on Jensen Drive, you know, which is, you know, on Houston's north side. And it's a pretty rough neighborhood, but even the negativity didn't never make me want to aspire to do anything wrong.
Okay.
You know.
Well, that's good. So what year did you get out of high school?
I graduated in high school in 1991 from Bel Air High School. I was a football player. I was a track runner. Had good success in high school, performance-wise in sports. Went on to college. I went to Tarleton State at first and didn't stay in Stephenville much long, maybe a year and a half, and I ended up going to Hardin-Simmons in Abilene, where I graduated with the all-level physical education degree, as well as the all-time leading punt returner.
What year was that?
That was the year, well, I graduated in 1998.
Okay.
Yes, and right after I graduated from Hardin-Simmons, I went into Houston ISD and started coaching. Secondary and head track coach over at Reagan High School. I was also a health teacher. So I was pretty moving through life, making friends, building relationships, sowing a lot of positive seeds that would allow me to do more things, as I developed and got older.
So tell me what made you start the combine for youth?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, like I said, I coached for 6 years, from high school to middle school. I also played college sports, and I had an opportunity to participate in the combine in college. So basically, with my knowledge from participating in the combine to my new job, which was having me instruct young people to participate in combines, I gained more knowledge, and I developed my concepts and decided to move forward and just do combines, offer combines for the greater Houston area youth.
Now let me just say this. I graduated from high school in 1976 and moved to Houston to go to college. And I was a college cheerleader at U of H, and we had football players, and none of them came from combines. So when did that phenomenon start? They didn't have combines in the 70s. If so, the players I knew didn't go to them, and they were recruited all over the country. Some had track records in Texas. A lot of them came at the U of H back in those days when Coach Yeoman was the coach. They ran the Veer. Most of them came from small towns like Lufkin. A lot of them came from Lufkin.
Good deal.
Because Coach Red was from Lufkin. One of the black coach at U of H, football coach, was from Lufkin. But they would come from Lufkin, Tyler. Just most of the small Longview. Yeah. I mean, some are from Houston and Dallas, but most of them are from more little cities close to the big cities. So when they came in, my college football education was from them.
Sure.
And I never heard of combines in high school, and I was from San Antonio, but I was a high school football cheerleader then too. Sure. And I just never heard of football players going to combine. So where did that come from?
That's a wonderful thing. That's great.
Where did that come from?
Well, we were ahead of the industry.
Now you like Reagan at Reagan or what? Reagan High School or what?
The concept that I introduced to the people that led to my incarceration, they were already.
But I guess when I want to take you back, because you said you participated in combine, so that made me think you were a student athlete in a combine.
Sure. Well,
so when was that?
That happens. Well, the combines traditionally started with professional, from college to professional. So the NFL scouts would, that's where I participated in the combine with the NFL, and basically if the NFL scouts are interested in you, they'll go to your university and they'll have you perform a number of tests and drills to test how effective you are as a football player, and they wasn't doing many high school combines, so it was fairly a novelty.
In the 90s. Okay.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Okay, and I was in college and high school in the 70s. Okay, so.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I want to say that the high school combine started to develop probably around 98, really.
So combines is combination of the two areas. Is that what it stands for? Is it a combination of like the college to the pros, combine, a combination, or do you know what that term is derived from?
I don't know the origin of the term, the combine, but I do know that traditionally, college players hope
or combined with football players. Pros.
The combine might just be a name, but I know that they want to participate in that event.
Okay.
And that's the bridge, or that's the platform that allows professionals to assess the talent level.
Okay.
But moving that platform to the high school level was fairly new in 2005 and 2006 when things took place. So people were interested. Nike was interested. I mean, everybody was interested in, you know, the vision that I presented. You know, it's just that the partners that I was dealing with, they felt that they needed more responsibility, and they started to get a little bit upset when they realized they had only limited responsibility, you know, and that kind of caused the rift.
So in 2005, 2006, you ended up landing yourself in jail.
Yes.
So was that like a particularly tough time for you? Like you weren't working, you had no income. How did you find yourself from being a football coach to being in jail? How did you get to that point? Because I don't remember you being able to bond out.
Well, I mean,
Because I remember when
Sure.
when I was appointed to represent you.
Sure. I think you chose to represent me, right?
I
Or were
get
you
appointed.
appointed?
Yeah,
Oh, well,
I
that's
got
wonderful.
appointed,
I mean,
yeah.
God bless me. I got a wonderful attorney.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I got
One of-
appointed a wonderful attorney.
One of the things that's part of my legacy, hopefully, as a criminal defense lawyer when I was one, was I tried to treat people the way I want to be treated, and I tried to treat my retained clients the same as I treated my court-appointed lawyers.
Sure.
So I didn't, people couldn't tell the difference.
Well, that's
And Danny knows that.
That's right.
right. Well,
And the reason why Danny knows that is not because I ever represented him, because he's never been in trouble in Houston, but it's because
Well, I never got caught in Houston.
oh, okay, he never got caught.
well, I mean, I think what I remember about you is being fair and honest. That's what I remembered, and I felt okay. You know.
Right. I am fair and honest, but sometimes that's not good because when people are in a desperate situation, they don't want to hear the truth.
Well,
So that's the problem, and Danny knows that about me. But I found it was difficult when I was a criminal defense lawyer because, not you, because you were more mature, you've educated, but most people want you to lie to them. You see what I'm saying? Like, tell me you can get me off. Tell me you can do that. And really, a criminal defense lawyer is supposed to represent you, of course, but they have to just reinvestigate the facts and give you the best way to dispose of your case. To tell you, make a recommendation.
Sure.
You should go to trial.
Sure.
Because I don't think they can prove that, or you're gonna get creamed in court. But they have to investigate it. They can't just say that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I mean, all things happen for the good for those who love the Lord and are called for His purpose, and that's what I held on to throughout everything. I mean, I didn't know it day one. I didn't know it in the county. I didn't know it in Beeville, the transfer unit. But it just evolved. To my understanding, as I started to read the Word and as I started to practice what was going on and where I wanted to be.
All right, so tell us how you ended up going from. Did you get a satisfactory answer, Danny, on how he went from being a football coach with this great concept of this combine that should make a whole bunch of money and do a lot of good, helping kids get into college?
To being on Garza East and Garza West in Beeville?
Right, I didn't get a chance.
Oh, no, I don't want to go there first, but yeah, to get into the Harris County Jail.
It was like a life changing. It was like I was
How did you
upside
get there,
down.
though?
How did I get there? Well,
How did you go from educator to being in the Harris County Jail with me being your lawyer? Without going into the details of the story, but what was going on for you mentally?
What was going on mentally? I think a lot of times,
And you can jump in if you like.
Yeah, because remember earlier we had this discussion.
okay, yes.
So there was a Sanford how old are you now?
I'm 43.
And there was a Sanford back then, how old was he?
I was 33.
And I say how old was he because as you presented to me, the person that I met today,
Right.
the person I would have met 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been the same meeting, even though you was in the same line of work doing this, but character-wise,
Sure.
would it have been the same person?
No. I'm a different person. I'm gonna be honest. I'm the same human being that I've always been, and I'd like to be that person because he's a good guy, But I have me now, and I had more other issues back then, See now
But label some of those issues.
Marriage, rough marriage.
Now, were you married before you got in trouble?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what led you. I mean, I just gave
I
up.
know, but I'm just not.
Okay.
I can't.
Sure.
I mean, I will only say things about what happened if you give me permission. I'm not going to say it.
Sure. But I don't even know what to say. I guess we'll talk about the details of whatever. But There was a time when I was like, come on, yeah, let's go. Let's do
Confrontational?
this.
Well, you had a lot
No.
of anger, just a
No,
little anger,
no,
just a little anger, just
no,
I'll roll
just
with
when
it.
I said let's go, I'm talking about with me and Miss King saying let's go to the trial, let's fight this. You know what I'm saying? Let's fight this. And then
You know, I
I
always
received the divorce for Christmas. I want a divorce, and then I
Well,
said,
it's probably because you had been in jail for a while.
Sure.
Because you were in jail for a while before we actually got to actual hearing before a judge.
sure,
One of the things based on my investigation, and I'm not going to go into details, is I'm pretty sure I didn't advise you to go to trial. That's all I
Well,
remember.
I mean-
I remember based on, you wanted a trial, but based on me looking at what happened, reinvestigating it, talking to
Right.
the people you're involved with, and like I said, I'm not going into detail.
Yeah.
My advice to you was don't go to trial.
Right.
And, but we still had a punishment hearing.
sure, yeah. We had a punishment.
So you took my advice because you didn't go to trial like you
I-
originally wanted
I
to.
took your advice. Well, like I said, all
But you
things-
probably was mad at me for it.
Oh,
but-
well, you know what, Maddie? I want to. Well, let's go up there and just do it to him. How was my defense for you? You know, did I present things that would benefit me? But I don't even really want to talk.
No, I'm not going to go into detail
Okay.
about it, but because I'm not going to go into your specifics unless you do. But
Okay.
if I can be honest with you, I didn't think you were thinking rationally.
Okay.
I think that you were, and there is a time in all of our lives where we don't think rationally.
Sure.
I've been divorced
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
You know, I've had bad things happen in my childhood. So I don't think that you were more so caught up with how you felt like you had been betrayed, which you had been.
Mm-hmm.
That you didn't see that even though you were betrayed, that's a civil situation where you sue somebody in civil court.
Right.
You don't take the action that you took.
Right. Oh, and
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
yeah.
you were only in jail for the action you took,
Oh,
which
yeah.
was not lawful.
And exactly,
so,
it wasn't. It
and so
wasn't
therefore,
lawful.
we can't go to trial with something that's not lawful. You see what I'm saying? Because
Or how we feel.
because we didn't have a legal defense. It was just that you had been wronged, but you
Right.
didn't. I could be feeling wronged right now. I feel wronged right now about things,
Right.
but I'm not taking the action that you took, and the
yeah.
action is what got you
was-
in
yeah,
jail.
that-
So
that's-
the irrational part is he wanted to go to trial based on his feelings, and the criminal court is not about feelings; it's about the action.
Right. But you know what? Like I said, I'm fine with everything that took place.
Yeah, but he was
I'm
a
fine with
difficult client though, because he was like he wanted to fight it. I want to fight. I want to fight. I want to fight.
But remember earlier we talked about that. In the 10-year span from the person I'm meeting now and the person then, when I look at how I reacted most of my life, I didn't react. Things were built on emotions. I reacted by how I felt. If I felt like something was bad, I'm going to react to it. And someone could say, well, Danny, what you telling me everything they did to you that's wrong, but when you did this, all that went out the the table. I couldn't rationalize that. Like, no, you're not listening to me.
Right.
This is what they did. Right. No, but you were in jail, Danny, based on what you did.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
what you did.
And
that's kind of where he was, but his issue was
it didn't happen the way they said it happened.
Yeah, they lied on him, but because there was so many of them and it was their office,
right, I knew
you didn't have a right to do anything in their office.
I didn't.
You see what I'm saying?
But you know
Because
what?
I'm just saying, but we still couldn't win that.
You're not right. You're not allowed to touch people. But like I said,
You're not allowed to touch people.
You're not allowed to touch people.
And you're not allowed to go in their property and touch them.
No, they're not allowed to touch me.
Right, but when you got 3 of them against you, the reality is you can't win because it looked like you won the 3. So that's even though they might have started it.
Right.
One of the things we have in criminal law is just a sick saying is that the person who loses calls the police. You see what I'm saying? They could have started it,
Right, sure.
but if they lose,
That's
they call the
and that-
police,
and
and
that's
they
the
all
right
the ones that
thing.
are gonna be bloody and beat up. They might have started it, but the person who calls the police
Sure,
is
the one who wins. And I
That's the
didn't-
one who
and I
wins
didn't- and
in
I
the
should've
criminal
called-
justice
I should've
system.
called
Because
the
who
police.
knows? It's just your word against ours. And so all the police can see is when they get to the scene, they see somebody bloody. So they can't tell that the bloody person is the one that started it because you're not bloody.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, some people.
But it was a nightmare
It was a nightmare.
It was
for you.
a nightmare.
And it was time for it to be over. And one of the things you got lucky on is we took a chance and had a punishment hearing with those people coming in, with the scene being like it was. I was really scared for you to go to a jury because I thought a jury could send you to prison. And I just didn't want that to happen because of the dynamics of it. You know, you're of a different race than they are. You know, it looked like you got the best of them, and it didn't look good. And they were kind of fat. You know, it just looked like you were in fit in football, and they were big. You know, it was just, I was afraid of the way that looked, if you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
I mean, just like all the shootings that have gone on and all the things that happen in the community that are all now on film, as a lawyer, you see that in the courthouse every day, and you know, you can already predict what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So I suggested we go to a judge, Judge Susan Brown, and I mean, she actually listened to you, even though she listened to them. And, you know, I was shocked when she gave you probation. To be honest with you, I thought she was sending you to prison. So, I mean, you really got lucky. And but from there, you got probation. He gets to get out of jail. It's over from a criminal defense lawyer. I've never talked to him again. So that was 2006
Sure.
until, you know, you called my old office and asked, and he's scheduled to be on tonight, like a long, long time ago.
Sure.
So tell me what happened after 2006. So you get probation.
Right.
You've been in jail for about 8 months. 8 months.
8.5 months.
You go to jail.
You go to
you get
jail.
probation from the judge. The judge
don't-
gives you probation. And then what happened there?
Right. Okay, this is what happened. Basically, you know, you go in a professional, you go in, you know, with the credentials that you have, and then you sign for deferred adjudication, and you think that, oh, that means you wasn't convicted. You know, you wasn't officially convicted, but, you know, I couldn't get a job basically.
Right.
I couldn't get a job. I went from being, you know, a high profile, you know, school teacher, coach, you know, very effective at my work, and to not being able to get a job at McDonald's.
And that's what people need to hear. Young people don't understand what you do now will follow you.
Oh, it will.
I mean, what you do will follow you. I hate to say that. And I've never been the type to tell people, if you get deferred adjudication, you won't go to, it's not on your record, because it is on your record, because
It is.
the
It's
deferred
the best.
adjudication is on your record. When there was no computers, saying, you know, there was nothing to see.
Sure.
And so, but now that there's something to see, the people interpreting it don't understand what
Sure,
it means.
no, they
don't
don't-
understand
they
it
don't
means
realize it.
it's been the judge deferred an adjudication of your guilt.
Right.
They don't understand that. And so you can't really explain that to people when you're coming for a job. And so, but you know, the problem comes in, a lawyer's job is to keep you from going to prison. Okay, so it's a job well done for
right.
me.
Yeah,
I did my
exactly.
job. I
Sure.
kept you from going to prison, because looking at the way that scene looked, I'm not going into detail, the scene look and how strong you are compared to how weak they were, and you know, the different colors, I could see a jury doing something bad to you, because if they could relate to them more than you
What
know,
year was this?
2005 or 6?
It was 6.
2006.
Once I think about it.
And was they treating it like an aggravated offense?
Yes.
Oh, it was aggravated.
Right.
It
So,
was aggravated. The facts are kind of worse than we're saying.
well, the amazing thing about it is, because I was in the criminal justice system. for
Well,
a
they're
different
worse
time,
in terms of what the pictures look.
What I'm saying is,
The way the
it was
pictures look.
ugly. What I'm saying is,
Because the pictures were ugly.
oh, I didn't see any pictures. I didn't see anything. But the only thing
You did see
I
them.
didn't get to see anything.
I didn't show you the pictures.
No, I didn't get.
But back then they didn't give us
But
copies of them. But maybe you were too fussing at me too much behind that gate for me to show them to you. 'Cause all I can do is borrow the DA's file and give it back to you.
Well, no, I didn't see anything. But I know that it was. I know that
The
it
scene
was
was
not.
torn
I know
up.
there was a bad scene. But it was like I said.
It was two sides of the story,
It's
but
two
it's
sides of the
pictures,
stories,
and you're
yeah.
in their office, and you are fit, and they're not, and it didn't look good. That's all I'm saying. Because one of them got hurt bad. I think it was a woman. Okay, that's all I got to say.
well, you know, when you talk about an aggravated,
But I know they had that bouncer type guy there. I remember that. That big old dude that I believe he started it, but he was a big old strong dude like you,
Right,
but he
well,
wasn't one of the owners. He was like their bouncer.
The thing about it is, we all know something took place, okay? And I don't deny anything. Not to this day, I will not deny anything. I'm real about it.
You won the fight.
My whole point, no, it's not about that, Miss King. I lost everything.
Oh, no, you did. I'm just
I
saying
lost
that to be
everything.
light. No,
Right,
I'm just talking about that day, that moment
Yeah,
in time.
I lost everything, and the whole thing is if it didn't happen the way they say it happened.
I believe that.
And the way that it was being presented, like if you say it happened this way, then I say, okay, yeah, you're right. But if
yeah,
they,
the problem
say
is it was
that-
3 against 1.
They collaborated.
They
all-
collaborated. It's their office,
They tried to
and they
kill
got the
me.
yeah.
They
But you
tried to
could,
kill-
but
they
he,
tried to
but
kill me.
but you
They
couldn't
wanted to
tell when they
kill
got
me.
out of there, okay?
Right.
Because he won that.
Because
he
I
won the fight. He won the fight.
They were trying
He
to
won.
kill me. They were trying to murder me.
It was 3 of them, but
For real.
Yeah, I
You know what I
believed you,
mean?
but I didn't know how to prove it because
But do you remember?
remember it.
When
I
I
remember
went in
everything.
trial and they were talking, they were bragging about. See, I didn't know that they were what they were saying, but they were bragging in the court. That's what made me mad. They were bragging in the court about who should have killed me, and I was going to do this, and I had one guy who was going to do it, but
You heard them?
I knew in my spirit that they were trying to kill me.
well, did they testify to that on the witness stand?
That's what
I thought
they
they
said
acted
out
humble.
loud.
Yeah,
No,
I thought
they
that
didn't.
was
No, they were ugly.
Oh, it was ugly.
They were braggadocious. They were like, yeah,
Yeah, but the
other
pictures
guy
are
was going to
bad.
kill him. But the only thing is, what's real is real. You know what I mean? I mean, they like I said,
But you won the fight.
You touched me, they jumped on me.
You won-
know what I'm
but you
saying?
won the
And
fight.
They got the worst
and
end
it
of it.
happened like that.
And the office, the
Other than
pictures
that-
I saw, the
other-
office was all torn up. You know, it was
Really? Well, that's what happens when people fight. You know what I mean?
That's
But-
true.
For their
like I
life.
said, but for their life, they were holding me down, trying to hit me with a hammer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
I'm
we
being
couldn't
for real.
prove it. We
Yeah.
couldn't prove it, but he did win the fight, though. That's all I gotta say. I gotta
What-
say, because if a lawyer knows,
What is she saying that?
but I'm on your side. I was on
you're
your
here to
side, but
tell
I
your
didn't know what to
story.
do.
You're here to tell your story.
Sure.
If your remembrance of it is that they were trying to kill you,
No, he told me that then. I knew it.
and you survived it.
I knew they were trying to kill me.
No, he did. They were.
But I didn't know that they were telling everybody else that they were trying to
Because
kill
he was in jail from the day it happened, so
I was
he
in
wouldn't
the
have known.
jail. I was
He
in the
wouldn't have known.
jail, but they
But the
were
other- but the other-
bragging
but
about
the issue- the issue
how they
is-
would have did it if I wouldn't have won. And
Now, if you would have
that
won, they
was
would have
real.
killed you.
They
But
would've
you
killed
won.
me. Right.
But you won. I mean,
Right.
that's all
and
I
they
can
would have
say.
collaborated the same type of story when the police came.
The good news is you lost everything, but you're alive because they could have
Yes,
killed you
ma'am.
with that hammer.
Yeah, sure, they
So-
coulda
And
killed
then
me,
that would have
yeah.
been over, and that happens every day.
Right.
And from where I sit in the criminal justice system, whether a defense attorney or prosecutor like I am now, a proud prosecutor as I am now, it could happen either. It can happen either way.
Yes, ma'am.
Case closed.
Case closed. It could happen either way. You know that. I mean, people get killed every day.
Yeah, and
People
don't
fall and bust
always
their head and get
go
killed.
through the criminal justice system with an aggravated case. And
So he starts
get
with one.
probation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The judge, and especially after they testified against him, and the judge is a tough judge, and she gave him probation. That's what I knew, and I just knew that Sanford went on and everything went good. So tell me how you got probation, and then you ended up violating.
Like I said, it was a nightmare. The
I don't know how that
well,
happened.
Okay, right. Well, I didn't know. You talk about people, coming into the criminal justice system,
Right.
not really understanding what
Right.
they're signing up for or what
Right.
they're getting into. Like before I got in trouble, I was an upstanding citizen.
Right,
I was
right.
a pillar of the community. I could see things that needed fixed, and I would go to fix them, and people knew that. So you don't really know. So when I signed for probation with you, I signed. Oh, I don't get in trouble. I don't do stuff wrong. So I'll be okay on probation.
And I don't remember you signed for it. I think the judge gave it to you, and
Well,
then you just had to sign the papers.
Sure.
Yeah, because we were doing a punishment hearing. It could have gone from probation to 20 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what we were doing. You don't even remember. Yeah. I was scared you were going to prison. So, like I said, my job was to keep you from going to prison. So that's what I thought.
Like I said, Ms. King, you did a good job. And I mean, I know you said I was a difficult client, but
Well, you were difficult because you wanted to talk. You were talking about feelings, and the only issue is what
Okay,
happened.
sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to spend a lot of time about who you were, telling me. And when you're in jail, because you're so frustrated, you tell people the same thing over and
Really?
over. And I'm really smart. Okay, this is 11 years, and I've probably had 1,000 clients since you, but I still remember what happened.
yes.
I've never written it down. I mean, I don't know where your file is. We only have to keep them 5 years.
And we all do the same thing, though, if we can, with our lawyers.
And see, Danny worked for me. We were met through church, but he actually worked for me for a little while, about a year, or a year and a half, about 2 years, as my legal assistant. In addition to his job, and he went with me to the jail every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was assigned certain youthful offenders charged with very serious crimes, like capital murder and things like that. And
Most of them were capital murder.
capital murder. He was like he's the encourager at our church. He's been to prison 3 times. And so aggravated cases. So he already he spent a lot of his youth, a lot of his life in prison. And so he was able to talk to them, but yet he's smart, and so he could take notes. He was like my legal assistant. And he knows that they said the same thing over and over. Right. And so even though he only dealt with that population for that year with me, I've dealt with this for years. And so everybody wants to get out, and so they think you can't hear them and like telling their story. I'm this, I'm that. I used to be a coach, which is great. I'm not saying that's negative. It's just that that's not going to change.
Right, that's not going to change, right.
And it's 20,000. Right now, there are 20,000 felony cases pending. And every judge, there's 22 felony judges, and all of them have 1,000 cases pending, and about, maybe 100 set for trial. And there's only a day from 8 to 5. So just think of how voluminous a judge is to have to deal with 1,000 cases.
Sure.
And the lawyers, and because people think you don't care, caring is not the issue. The criminal justice system is not based on caring. So you can care. You got to deal with your family for support in terms of repeating your story over and over. Once I hear it once and write it down, I got it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there, I got to go with the defense and investigate and come up with a conclusion.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, but basically, I signed for probation, and I thought I could go and be.
Basically, the judge gave him probation. He had to sign the agreements after the judge gave it to him, which is signing for the conditions of probation.
Right. And
because you weren't offered probation.
I don't know. I don't.
I
know
do.
the rules. You know the
I
rules.
do. I know for 8 months I fought to try to get you probation, and the DAs wouldn't do it, so I had to go to the judge for that punishment hearing.
Okay.
And the judge, after hearing it, gave you probation.
Oh, okay. Good deal. Good deal. And nevertheless, I violated. I violated about a year afterwards.
So you did a year of probation?
Yes.
That's good.
How long did they give you?
I had 8
6
years.
or 8 years?
I had 8 years probation, but it was miserable, and it was miserable because
It's intentional. It's designed to be miserable.
Right, and when I say it was miserable, if I would have really, been, I don't know. I can't even.
So are you telling me in hindsight, if you had to do it over,
you would have just gone to prison?
You felt that it would have been easier just to go do 2-3 years in prison versus doing 8 years on probation, because I eventually went to prison anyway?
Listen, I don't, yes and no, okay? Yes and no. There are people who, and I had people telling me, man, just go to prison. I don't know, man, I'm not even.
Probation's gonna be hard.
Well, yeah, but the thing about it is you don't know. You don't know. You're thinking you're free. You know what I mean? When you're on probation, you're thinking you're free. You're thinking you can still go do whatever you want to do, go home when you want to, go over here when you want to. If you ain't got the money, it is what it is. But when you're under those,
conditions.
Those conditions, you know what I'm saying? It's not, you're not free.
They restrict your life.
You're restricted, and that was very difficult coming from being in charge of a whole, athletic program.
No, not just being an athletic, but being a person never been in the criminal justice system.
Right, never been in the criminal justice system. I was like, oh my God. So my life was just whoa. And then, I went to go get jobs that I had turned down before. You know what I mean? I was fully qualified and went in and went through all the paperwork, and then rejection. And then I was like, why are they rejecting me? I thought you said I wasn't.
I never said
I know
you would.
you.
I never
but
said
this is what the human being.
Right, and that's what they say in jail. I never told you it wasn't going to be on your record.
He says, wait a minute, I didn't think my life I was going to be treated like a felon. I didn't know.
Even though I'm a felon, I don't know if I'm going to be treated like one.
Well, he hadn't been convicted.
I thought I hadn't been convicted.
No, because that's deferred adjudication.
But you're in trouble. You know what I mean? You're in big trouble.
It's documented.
It's documented. It's on the computer,
record.
and people don't know the difference between
people
conviction or that. They just see it. They just see the case.
And they see arrest record. You were arrested for this. So
right.
no, it's not like we're discriminating on you. We just not going to even call you back.
The risk of the liability of your application versus these 50 other applications there's nothing on these people's record.
Right.
So if they get you in a school when you have something on your record, they feel like if he goes off one time, and we already knew this when we hired him, we're going to get sued our butt off.
It's a huge liability.
So that's the issue.
Right.
But as like I said, the difficult part for the criminal defense lawyer is that we just don't want our clients to go to jail. And we want you to have that chance, and we can't unring the bell. And we know in Harris County, a jury's not gonna see that scene, and they got 3 people against you, and they see the scene, you won. You know how they're gonna vote.
And of course, there is success after probation, during probation. There's success in life after prison, and knowing that means that this is not the end of your life. Things are going to be different, but it's not going to take away your opportunities. It may limit them to where you had 100, you're going to have to really dig. You can still get those opportunities, but they will be hard to come by.
They will be.
So how'd you violate? I'm still on that.
Oh, how would I violate? What was it?
You didn't go report or what? Because money is not supposed to violate you. So
Money.
did you not report?
No,
Money's not going to be
I
it.
picked up a new charge.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked up a new charge.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to tell me that. I didn't know you
No,
got
I
in
don't
trouble
want to
again. You
tell- I know,
shame?
I got in trouble.
We got to tell it, baby.
But
How'd you get in trouble again?
Well-
You smoking weed?
Well, that's funny.
Give me a hint.
Well, no.
You was
I
smoking
mean, the
weed?
real deal. No, I mean,
Was it drugs?
Hold on, Vivian. You just gonna
He
get
sound
out
like
of
he's
it?
scared to say
Well,
something.
it's not that I'm scared to say it, but I never talked about it. I never
We got to
talked
come
about
clean.
it.
Okay,
We got to
good.
come clean.
Take
Look
a
at
deep breath.
No.
Take a deep breath.
Dennis
Right.
said, take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
We're laughing just
Okay.
because we understand.
Okay, well, let me
but
tell you the truth, though.
Oh, right.
This
Truth
is what
and
happened.
justice.
This is what happened. I was upset.
you were still mad?
No, well, yeah.
After those 8 months of cooling down in jail?
No, it don't cool. It's no cool down.
Okay.
It's bizarre. You're in a
It's bizarre.
cage.
Okay,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
You're being treated,
Like an animal,
differently,
all right.
like an animal. So you come out and you like, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna do good because I've never been bad anyway. You know what I mean? So I didn't have that problem. And then you go to like I said, the same places that you went to before, jobs that you turned down, that could help you support yourself. And then they say no, and then you say, well, McDonald's, will y'all hire me? And then McDonald's say, aggravated assault. No, get out of here. So you're mad now. Then I got mad, and I was upset, and I was like, I cannot believe it. I'm going from being a professional, having this type of money, and now I can't even pay my probation fees.
Right.
And then they were hitting at me, and then I had a divorce to go through, and then I had all this stuff go through, and I just couldn't believe all these people that were supposed to be genuine, upfront, honest, was that I was getting the bad shake of it. But it's okay, you know what I'm saying?
What's the new case?
The new case was evading arrest in a motor vehicle.
Okay.
Okay, so basically,
So why do you want to stop?
because I had marijuana in the car.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had marijuana in the car.
Everybody smoke weed.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
weed
saying.
almost legal.
Sure.
Weed is not
Yeah.
legal. Weed is not legal. I'm a prosecutor. It's not legal.
Well, they write tickets for it. You
But
could've
we
got a
don't
ticket.
write tickets for it. Hold on. Come back to me, camera. We do not write tickets for it in Harris County. We do have a misdemeanor marijuana diversion program, and regardless of your record, we will allow you to take a 4-hour class and sign up for it. Marijuana is not legal. Our legislatures have to make it legal, and it is not. But the district attorney has the right to divert low-level offenses so that we can spend our county taxpayer resources on more serious crimes. And by the way, if you did sign up for our marijuana program, you need to take the class. Okay.
Okay, yeah. But no, I mean, I had marijuana in the car, and I didn't evade arrest. I just didn't stop instantly.
That's what made it.
Okay, yeah, basically, I just didn't stop instantly. I was like, man, I'm going to
That's
jail.
what
man.
made
I'm
it.
out of there. You know what I mean? Because you don't really know. And then basically.
I know you were mad then.
Well,
oh
you know
my
what?
God.
But you know what? To be honest with you, as soon as I got my time, I felt relieved.
So you got arrested, you got held without bond, you went back to Judge Susan Brown's court.
Yes.
Okay.
You
So
know-
who was your lawyer then? Do you remember?
You wasn't there.
Well, no, they just appoint whoever.
Okay,
I mean,
it
it's
was-
not
it
like
was,
they appoint the same people.
Well, actually, I'm not sure who my lawyer was,
Okay.
but the district attorney, when it came time for us to talk about that,
But they appoint a lawyer to talk. You don't remember that?
Sure, but I don't
Isn't that impressive that he remembered me, but he doesn't remember a second
Well,
lawyer?
Vivian,
And the second
you-
lawyer is the one that sent him, not sent him, but,
got me 3 years.
You're pretty
got you
impressive.
3 years.
You're pretty
Got you 3
impressive.
years.
I wouldn't
Okay.
get
Well,
you.
so you talked to the district attorney?
Yes.
Why? Because you want them to come back there and talk to you?
Talk to him. Yes.
Was it a male or female?
It was a female.
Okay,
It
well,
was a female.
Hopefully she was professional and nice.
She was
to you.
very professional. She was very professional. She asked me, she said, you give me 3 reasons. You give me a reason why I should give you 3 years, for this crime. And then I told her, I said, well, I'll give you 2. I told her I'll give you 2. I said, I have 2 daughters that need me out here. Mm-hmm. And those people were bad people. You know what I'm saying? And she just said, okay.
But she gave you 2?
And so she gave me 3 years.
What was the option besides the 3?
8?
Oh, the 8.
Well, listen, Oh man.
Oh no, he got
Oh,
deferred
I had
adjudication, so
deferred
they could
adjudication.
they could have given him 20. Oh, he
They
up to
could have
20.
given me. Listen,
Yeah, they could have given him up to 20.
They could have given me 20.
Yeah, they could have given him up to 20.
The part.
And the first plea bargain was probably about 10.
Okay, listen.
What was it?
Right,
Well, no, they could have given him 20.
well, they could have given me
That's
20.
that's the problem with deferred adjudication. You're not locked in.
Right, you're not locked
So you're
in.
not locked. They're not locked in.
Still
The
open.
the
So,
sole range of punishment is still
like I
open,
said,
2 to 20.
I mean, this was the most amazing part when I went in front of Susan Brown. With
She remembered you.
3 years, yes.
Oh my God.
Listen, when I went in front of Judge Brown,
Oh my God.
she told me, she said, "How did you get 3 years?"
Oh, I know she didn't.
God gave it to me. That's who gave it to me. But how did you get 3 years? I would have given you no less than 15 years.
What happened?
Do you understand?
Wow.
This is what she's saying to me. Do you understand this? Do you understand this? Do you understand that? And then she mentioned something, and then I said, I thought you said this, and then she said, "That's it. I'm taking the 3 years away.
Oh my God.
I'm taking the 3 years
Why did
away."
you talk, Sanford?
Well, she asked me a question. She asked me, "Do you understand what I said?" And then she
All you
said,
supposed to say it was yes, ma'am.
and then I said, "Well, I thought you said." And she said,
Yes,
"That's
ma'am.
it."
That's what you're
and then
supposed to
and then I said, "Wait a minute, Judge. I thought you asked me what my question was. Did I have a question?" And I stated it. I didn't. You know what I mean? You asked me for that
understand.
answer. You know what I mean? I didn't. So
It was a rhetorical question on her part.
it's a rhetorical
She
question.
didn't really want an
She
answer.
didn't really want to.
She
Okay,
didn't
and I
want an
didn't know that. I thought she wanted me to
No.
ask, and then I started talking, and she said, "That's it." But
So what did you end up happening? She took the 3
I got
away.
3 years.
That day, or you had to
That
reset
day,
it?
no. She said, "You know what? You signed for these 3 years. I'm gonna honor you. I'm gonna honor those 3 years."
Can I tell you, can I give
But
my
she's tough.
interpretation
But
why
she's
she was
tough.
so upset?
Why?
Because it made her feel that she gave you a chance and you took that chance and came back. Like I gave you a chance when I gave you deferred adjudication, which your lawyer is telling you today she said luck, but you was like
Blessed.
favor.
Yeah,
You got some favor then.
Sure.
And she saw in her heart something in you that deserves something better than going to prison. And to see you back in there, it hurt her. She got in her feelings. She took it personal.
Right.
She did, because she had taken a risk on you.
Well, I mean,
She saw the good things you'd done. I mean, because like I said, that wasn't typical of Judge Brown to give probation. That's why I was so scared.
Sure.
But she did look at all the good things you'd done. She saw that bad thing, and that's why she gave you another
Well, I
chance.
appreciate
I
that.
agree with Danny. I think she was in her feelings because you came back.
Right. Well, she said she was waiting for me.
Oh my God.
She said, "I've been waiting for you." But
Wow.
like I said, I mean, but after I got those 3 years, I honestly, at that point in time, I started to rebuild my life.
So you rebuilt in prison?
Yes.
Now, tell me about that, because you had to learn how to do time. So how did you learn how to do time? This is new for you. You're in your 30s, and now you're in a prison cell.
Right.
And so how did that, just kind of tell me a little bit about how you dealt with that mentally.
Well, I mean, just like Joseph did, just like Joseph.
Give me that story you told me about your first experience in prison in the chow hall.
Okay. Well, well, first of all, everyone knew I was green.
Right.
They said, "Boy, this guy is green." That's what they used. And I'll tell you the first, well, in the county, because I was new, I wasn't into that environment, and this bully,
Oh, in the county jail?
in Harris County. But
Before
this
you
is-
went to
right,
prison?
Right before I went to prison.
Okay. You were trying to catch the chain.
Right. So the guy takes the new guy's tray, and I said, "Hey, give him back his food." No, I'm sorry.
Look at Daddy's face.
I said, "Hey, give him back his food." I took the tray from his hand
my
and I
God.
gave it to the guy. And I said, "Hey, that's your food." And then the guy is looking, at me.
Debo.
Yeah, and he was Debo. He's full of muscles, you know what I mean, and all this kind of stuff. And then they say, "You're there. I'm gonna do this to you." And I said, "Well, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? But he needs to eat his food." So I was getting into that kind of stuff. When I got to prison, this is what happened. When I got to prison, well, first of all, I mean, it was bizarre. But I remember it was some guys, young guys. They were acting out, you know.
Now, where
That's how
were
you
you?
describe
In
it,
Beeville?
acting
Or
out.
where were you?
I was in Beeville.
Garza
I was
East or
in
West?
Garza East or West. I was on, but you know, you go to both of them. One for 1 or 2 days, and the other one, I think I was in Garza West. Like right when I was getting ready to go there, they had a riot between the race riot. Racial tension is very high in prison, and they had a race riot, and you know, people were sent to the hospital and all that kind of stuff. And then they said, "Oh yeah, by the way, that's where you're going." And then I said,
Where? To the hospital?
"No, that's where I'm going, to where they were all
having
fighting."
all these race
The tank
riots.
that they had the
tank-
ride on, he's probably
Right.
going to get put
I
on
was
that.
going to that place.
Oh, Lord.
So, and then as I was walking up, there was a guy getting pulled away on a stretcher, you know, with a thing over his mouth, trying to help him breathe because he couldn't breathe because of tear gas. So I was like,
Okay.
but I had just turned 35, so honestly, you know, it was just like, are you going to be a man, or are you going to be, you know, are you going to let this situation be bigger than you? You have to be a man, and if you're going to be a man, that means acting with integrity, you know, whatnot, you know. So I just decided I was going to stand up and deal with it. And then, like I said, those young two people were acting out. You know what I'm saying? Basically messing around with the women, you know, kind of flirting a little hard with the women and acting out in a very ugly way. And one of the gang members, the Mexican Mafia members, had told him, they said, "Hey, don't do that."
Why? Because they're Mexican women?
So basically, what they were telling, what they were doing, they probably was acting out. When he say acting out, probably sexual misconduct.
Okay.
Probably.
But were they- but
masturbating on a female
That's what he
guard.
said.
But they
when
were
they come
female
out.
guards.
Yes.
But on female guards, were they Hispanic female guards?
They don't matter.
make a
It don't matter. I'm
It
just
don't
wondering
matter.
why were the Mexican
Oh.
Mafia trying to patrol it?
Because because their behavior, what he said, their behavior was causing attention to the illegal and the wrong things that they were doing.
Okay, so they're saying,
by
like, cut it all out. Yeah,
cut
just
it
cut it all
out
out.
because you're
We're
going to
gonna-
make them come in here and see
shake us
what
down.
we're doing wrong.
Gotcha.
Tattooing. And
Gotcha.
so look,
Gotcha,
men don't
gotcha.
want to see other men masturbate
Sure.
in front of them when women come by.
Sure.
Right.
Now, certain groups saying this is acceptable behavior, but the men saying, wait a minute, this is not acceptable.
Right.
And the young guys saying, you in jail with me, you in prison, there's no rules in
Right.
here with us.
Sure.
There's only rules when the guards come along.
Right.
And she liked me, she let me do it, you shouldn't have anything to do with it.
Right. But the guy is saying, "Hey, listen, I'm sick and tired of you pulling out your toys, you know what I'm saying? When we're out here looking, I don't want to see you. Every time I look up, you're doing something wrong."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So they're saying, you know, we're going to enforce. So basically, you know, like I said, I'm new. I done walked into a situation.
That's a real situation.
Okay,
We
exactly.
got a situation.
I've walked into a situation and I've been there 3 days.
Oh my God.
And then I see these boys doing this, and then next thing you know, these guys, they all about 8 of them all jump on these guys.
Wow.
Locks.
Hispanics?
Yes, Mexican Mafia.
Right.
I'm sorry. But yeah, that's who it were.
They
And,
beat these kids up.
They jumped on these boys and was beating them, you know, with socks and all that kind. I mean, with locks and socks and
Heavy things.
just
Anything they
any
could find.
weapon they could find. And then I ran up to him and I say, hey, stop.
Oh
You know, I
my God!
couldn't
He
get
think
to
he's a
him.
coach. He think he's a football coach. He's about to
he's
stop it on the.
Superman. He
He gonna
Captain
stop it on the.
Saber.
He about to stop it on the
I didn't
playground.
know. I didn't know. I said,
he-
hey, you get away from, you stop it. Hey, no. And then just like,
Did you get punched too?
well, they looked back at me and they were like, what? I'm gonna get you.
Oh
So
Lord.
you remember, he's 35.
I'm
Like,
35.
grown,
I'm
he's
a
grown.
grown man.
He's like 100 years old and in prison
Right.
with most of the youth there.
Young,
Right.
But
And
those
they-
guys were older than me and they were in charge.
Yeah, yeah.
So what happened was those guys, they got taken out. They all got taken out.
The
And
ones
left-
acting out of the Mexican Mafia.
The Mexican Mafia.
Got
all the
taken out.
ones they got removed and sent to a permanent unit, and they left that one guy who was the lieutenant, you know, in there, and you know, so
The
he's
prison
by himself
in prison lieutenant.
in prison. Well,
That's jumping on people.
huh?
Why you call him a lieutenant?
Well,
he's
in a gang, you got rank.
Oh, he's a
The
lieutenant.
captain,
Okay,
lieutenant.
so the lieutenant, the Mexican Mafia
boss,
lieutenant,
yes.
the boss is left there without his
by
boys.
himself.
Okay.
Yes.
So then those boys probably jump on him now.
No, come on.
No, they're not gonna jump on him.
Huh?
Okay, I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
He probably knows.
I don't talk prison.
I don't
reason why they don't do that.
Danny talk prison.
I don't talk prison either, and I never bought into prison. I want you to understand.
No, I can tell. I
want you to
can
understand.
Why
tell.
y'all call it talking prison? It's not like a prison talk. It's just the same thing. It's the lifestyle. The same conversation they had in prison, they were having them on the streets. It's not like a new language.
Well, we call it street talk
Right.
too.
Well, basically, so they leave this guy here, and then you think, normal person thinks that, you know, oh, those guys, that he's in trouble because all of his friends are gone and he's outnumbered. Well, first of all, these guys that are claiming he's gangbanging, you know, Crip, Blood, whatever, they not really gangbangers.
Right. Obviously.
They're not really gangbangers.
They dealing with the
they're not really.
insecurities of being in prison and scared.
They just need protection.
That's right.
Basically. And
A lot
maybe
of
they
that.
were doing it outside, maybe they doing it in there, but they were just basically, me for you, you for me, and we're gonna
Right.
all stick together.
That's right.
Whatever. And I don't care. You can take any young person who might be of into those gangs, and they can think that they're about it and they're serious, but they're nowhere near.
So when they take all the guys, remove them from the lieutenant, what happens?
Lieutenant sits back like this, and anybody who's Hispanic, whether they're in his gang or not, they better listen.
Gotcha.
They better listen because
I
his gang is bigger than theirs. He got a family. They just got little gangs. So, and they were upset with me for doing what I did, So they were all 20, 30 of them were all plotting
Oh, wow.
to get me on my third or fourth day.
Oh, my God.
And what do?
I don't know.
I will talk to him.
You wouldn't talk to him?
I went straight to him.
He went to politics.
I went straight to the guy, to the lieutenant. And I said, well, and then what he said to me was, he said, listen, I know you're new, I know you're green, I know you don't, know what's going on in here, but those guys were doing this, and this, and they could have gotten us in a whole lot of trouble, and we didn't mean anything. And I said, yes, you're right, I am green, and when I was telling you guys to stop, I just wanted you guys to stop because I didn't want to see any violence. But
Now
I
you
understand that you
understand
guys
the
got to do what y'all got to do, and like I said, I don't want no parts of it. Basically,
I'm done.
You know what I'm saying? So
y'all were cool
that
after
in
that.
itself, when we shook hands, that took everybody off of me, and they let everybody, do themselves. And I gained respect, just from just being a normal person, But like I said, I never bought into prison. I never got comfortable. I never wanted to get comfortable. I mean, I know you remember, I was always in the law library.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I went to the law library. I was always in the law library in the county. Everybody made fun of me because I was going. I would buy books instead of buying Twinkies. I would buy pens. I would spend. I don't know if you remember. I would spend $3 or $4 on a pen, and they were like, "Man, you're gonna buy pens?" They would sell me school supplies all the time, and I probably wrote Miss King over 50 letters because that was my escape. That was the only way for me to get out of that environment that I was in.
You got 5 minutes, so take us from prison to your last endeavor, college again.
Prison. Oh man. I got out of prison. I was doing construction, and
In Houston?
Yes, in Houston. I was doing.
Who'd you go live with when you got out?
I live with my family.
Okay, so you still have a good family.
Yeah, I got good family. I have people that
Do you
love
still
me.
have mother and father?
I have my mother and father
Okay.
that's still alive. I have friends in San Angelo, also, who look after me. But
So you got out of prison.
when I got out of prison, I started doing construction, But even before that, because I know I only have 5 minutes, but I'll go to it really quick. After I got out, somebody attacked me with 2 knives. A guy just ran up to me and attacked me.
Where?
Over at Pace Setters in Elysian in Collinsworth in 5th Ward. Basically a rough area. Sure,
the
where I
area
was from. And at that point in time, I had a choice whether I was going to deal with him,
Right.
push the button people were saying, hey, man, let me do something to him. No, I just got out of trouble. I don't want that. And I called the police, and I felt proud. Felt proud of myself. But anyway, it was decisions.
Did they arrest him?
Yeah, they arrested him.
Because I didn't know if he was still around after you called the police. Did he run off?
It was horrible. It was horrible.
Did he stab you?
He hit me in the mouth with two. He had 2 knives, and he hit me in the mouth, busted my mouth wide open.
Oh my God.
And then he was on top of me, over me, finna stab me, and then he just pulled away.
Okay.
But it's that type of stuff, you know, that could have gotten me right back into the incarceration. You know what I'm saying?
That's
For
what
him
happened.
doing that, I could have been a fool, but I did enough time.
To make you think about it, right?
Yeah, I knew better.
You did not want to go back
I didn't
there.
want to do that, so I wanted to put the police in his life. So, but basically, after that, I started doing construction, and I moved up the chain pretty well. I realized what I wanted to do. Be in construction. I wanted to be a project manager.
Okay.
And the guys was like, man, you'll never be a project manager. And they said, well, get in this program. In 4 years, you'll make $27 an hour, and you'll be a journeyman. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
That's not bad, though.
no, that's not my life. That's not what God wants for me.
Okay.
You know, he told me I can have whatever my heart desires, and I believe him. But anyway, so I went to, I was doing construction, and I built the building, 20-story building from ground to top. And when I got to the top, that was it. And I was like, that's it? And then I was very disappointed. And I called one of my professors from Hardin-Simmons, Dr. Rainwater, who was writing me, and I think he sent you that reference letter. And I talked to him. I said, man, I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to be in construction. I don't want to do this. And he asked me, he said, if I can get you in graduate school, would you go to graduate school? And I said, yes, I would. And then he reminded me that Dr. Simpson was the head of the graduate department, and one of my ex-teammates was the head football coach in Angelo State. And he said, would you go up there? And then I said, yes, I would go up there. And from that point on, I just went up there, and
And you got and what do you work at studying?
I got my master's of education in coaching and sports administration. So basically, I'm able to conduct sports and recreation programs for youth K through 12.
And you have 1 minute, so tell us what you're doing with your YES program.
Yes
program.
Yes, just like jazz, yes.
Or like ass, but okay.
No. Well, basically, I mean, we creating fun and rewarding community service projects for young people, giving them something positive to do with their time. You know, like I said, I was one of the kids in off Jensen Drive, rough neighborhood. And so I know if it'll help somebody like me, there are other kids out there that are looking for fun and rewarding opportunities. So this is what I put together, and this is the plan to live the rest of my life on.
So Youth Achieving Through Service and Sports Incorporated. Youth Achieving Through Service and Sports is YAS, and that's his program. After graduate school, he's created this program for youth that we have to wrap up. Danny Sneed, thank you for being here tonight. I know you didn't get to talk much because we had such an interesting guest who drove down from San Angelo today to talk to us. Thank you, Sanford, for telling your story. We hope that it will inspire many, many people, many, many kids. We will have it on YouTube in about 1 week.
Okay.
Thank you for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in again. Tonight we have something really good, a hot topic in the news this week. He's been charged with crime. This is a show where I try to educate real stories. This is a show where I try to